Okay, we're back. We're going to learn Tanya chapter 46, Likutei Amorim, the section of Tanya that we're learning. For the 12th year. Yesterday we counted 27. So in today's lesson, our being animalistic and hence insensitive to the spiritual delight of the soul in union with God, often even violating that precious relationship. But that doesn't change that plain reality. Hence, regardless of level, we are all affected by the seriousness and subtlety of mitzvahs observance and their impact on our souls. That's the summary of today's essay. And many times in Tilim we see Mizmor le'Osaf. The Alter Rebbe says this is also the meaning of what Asaf said under divine inspiration. Obviously he was a godly man and a prophet, on behalf of the whole community of Israel, who were later to be in exile. So what did Asaf say? That the berries that conceal holiness are particularly strong during the time of exile. Concerning that time, Asaf says, "V'ani var v'lo eida be'emo seisi imoch v'ani tomid imoch." I am foolish and know not. I was as a beast before you, yet I'm continuously with you. What does he mean to say? This means that even though I am as a beast when I'm with you, even when I perform a mitzvah and I'm thus united with you, I'm still like a beast. And I'm not notifying, I don't feel that union that is happening when I do a mitzvah. My soul being unaware and insensitive to this union achieved between my soul and God through performing a mitzvah. For what I do to be aware and sensitive, my soul would be affected in a manner. What type of manner? Which should bring down upon it fear and awe first, followed by a great and pleasurable love that experiences delight. A love wherein the soul delights in godliness, or a love like fiery flames of ardent longing for godliness. So two things would happen if we would to feel the union that takes place at the time that we do a mitzvah. Number one is the awe, fear, and number two is great and pleasurable love. Like the quality of the tzaddikim whose corporeality, the physical body has been refined. When tzaddikim perform a mitzvah, they actually feel how it unifies their soul with God. This in turn awakens within their soul a feeling of fear and awe of God, followed by a feeling of intense love of Him. Of course, this is not the case with these who feel not, those who don't feel. For it is known the term das connote a sensitivity of the soul, and this is comprised of Chesed and Gevurah. Chochmah, Bina, Das. Das is the middle one, so it comprises of Chochmah and Bina. It has within it Chochmah and Bina, Chesed and Gevurah. Chesed gives rise to love, and Gevurah gives rise to fear. Only when one possesses the attribute of Das and spiritual sensitivity will one experience the kinds of love and fear of God described above. So we need to possess two things, the attribute of Dat and spiritual sensitivity, to experience love and fear of God. Nevertheless, Asaf says, Ani var v'lo'eda be'emus eisi imoch, but then he says, V'ani tomid imoch. Ani tomid imoch, which means, nevertheless, I'm continually with you. Ki eina chomer moneh yichud hanefesh b'nsaboch amar kamin. Corporeality of the body does not prevent the union of the soul with the light of the blessed Ein Sof, who fills all worlds. Corporeality can only prevent the soul from being conscious of its unity with God, inasmuch as it hinders the revelation and awareness of the unity accomplished during the performance of a mitzvah. It cannot, however, hinder the actual unity objectively affected. Which means that even darkness cannot obscure you. Accordingly, since as above, every Jew who performs a mitzvah is granted the unity and sanctity of supreme holiness, even when he does not perceive it, as does a tzaddik, one will be able to understand the severity of the punishment for transgressing the prohibition of working on Shabbos, or eating chametz on Pesach, leavened bread on Passover, which equally applies to all. The very same severe punishment applies equally to the loftiest tzaddik and to the coarsiest ignorant. Were either of them having for offense to transgress one of the above mentioned prohibitions, the reason even in the soul of the uncultured and completely illiterate person shines the light of the sanctity of Shabbos or festival. Hence he faces capital punishment by Koros, which is amount to a heavenly death, for eating leaven on Pesach, eating bread on Pesach, and stoning, or doing a prohibited form of labor on Shabbos, for the profanation, to profaning of this sanctity, which illuminates his soul. Regardless of the tzaddik or regular person, his sins, he profaned his soul. Though a particular individual may not feel this sanctity, as explained earlier, this sanctity does indeed illumine his soul, whether he feels it or not. This being a case, the soul of this individual is tainted by his misdeed in a manner equal to that of a tzaddik in similar circumstances. It is for this reason that the manner of punishment applies equally to all. Begam mashu chometz or tiltul moktzeh pegim b'kedusha nafsh v'kedusha nefesh tzaddik. Similarly, the transgression involving the slightest amount of leaven on Passover, or the moving of muktzah on Shabbos, blemishes the sanctity which rests on his soul, just as it would the sanctity of the soul of a tzaddik. Because at the end of the day, we only have one Torah. laws of the Torah apply equally to all Jews. From all the above, it becomes eminently clear that though a person may not feel the sanctity brought about by the performance of a mitzvah, might not feel it, so much so that he is likened to a beast, nevertheless, through his performance of a mitzvah, this so-called beast is unified with God to the same degree as the greatest sage. This is the implication of the pasuk, I was as a beast before you, yet I'm constantly with you. And as for the use of the plural form behemoth, beast, which is inconsistent both with the singular form mentioned earlier, bar, vani bar, v'lo eda, bar is singular. And then it says behemoth heisim, or behemoth is plural. So there's inconsistency. And then it says, and I'm a fool, and with the singular form, it's mentioned later, and I am constantly. L'ramez ki lefono yizborach kol bechinas dasen kol chesed gvur nidme kirem ze'aser guf le'oren sof boch, which means that they intimates that before him, or implies, even Das Elyon, which is supernal knowledge, which comprises Chesed and Gevurah, is like beast and a physical creation, the physical world of Asiya, not its spiritual counterpart, when comprised with the light of the Ein Sof. K'moshe Kosov, as it's written, Kulam b'chochma sisa. It's written, you made them all with wisdom, thereby comparing the level of chochma, wisdom, with Asiya, physical creation. From God's perspective, chochma and Asiya are equally the same. Asiya is the lowest part, chochma is the highest one, the highest level. But Hashem, from Hashem's perspective, chochma and Asiya are the same. And this is called Behemo Rabba, a great beast, denoting that level of beast which transcends understanding rather than that which lacks. And this is the level of the supernal name Ban, 52, one of the four variations of the Tetragrammaton, the Yud Kei Vav Kei in Hebrew. Corresponding with the number 52, we know that the name of God has different way of writing it. You can have in what you call Milui, when it's complete, you can have Yud Vav Dalet for the Yud. Hey is tricky. Hey can be Hey Yud or Hey Aleph. In one of these variations, you can get to the number of Ban, 52. You get the number of 52. And 52 also is the number of Behema, because 2 Hays is 10, Mem is 40, and Beis is 2. So you got total of 52. So V'ushem ban v'gimatri v'nika v'emorab v'nishvam v'kamacha. This is called be'emorab, as explained elsewhere. V'ushem ban v'gimatri be'ema shalifnei atzilus, and this is the level of the supernal name Ban, one of the four variations of Yud Kei Vav Kei, corresponding with the number 52, with the same numerical equivalent. The Hebrew word be'ema, which is on a level even preceding Atzilus, preceding the world of Atzilus. So today, the summary from today's essay is we see that even one who performs mitzvahs on the level of a fool or beast neither comprehending nor sensing the unity even that person attains a union with the level of beast that transcends even the most lofty of levels, which is Das of Atzilus. So the takeaway from today's essay: your physical trappings do not conceal the real truth. A truth which is equal to all. When you observe a commandment, you are completely unified with God. Okay, Bruchim Tiu will shortly be learning daily Parsha, another short video on the daily Parsha and Geula. If you want to follow us, it would be in the Chayenu, page 150.